Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on a seriously fast-paced journey through time to explore what is honestly a uniquely human obsession, the global history of gardening. We're going to trace exactly how our ancestors took wild, untamed nature and carefully crafted it into the ultimate symbols of power, spirituality, and peace.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to take just a second and really reconsider what that local park down your street or even that little potted plant sitting in your backyard actually represents historically. Are they just places to grow food, or are they something much, much deeper? To really understand the history of gardening, we first have to ask ourselves, what actually makes a garden a paradise?
Well, the answer is actually hidden right there in the word itself. The English word paradise literally originates from the ancient Persian word pairi-daēza, which roughly translates to an enclosed garden. You see, ancient literature from all over the world consistently linked the very concept of a spiritual utopia with a walled, completely protected space of curated nature.
Section 1. The Origins of Paradise. Recreating Eden.
Here's the thing. Early humans didn't just sit around waiting for the afterlife, they actively used gardens to create literal earthly versions of paradise. Take this 2,500-year-old scripture from Genesis, for example. It literally places the very origin of humanity inside a divinely planted garden. And this powerful link between paradise and enclosed gardens, it pops up everywhere, from ancient Greek myths all the way to the Epic of Gilgamesh. And you know, the archaeological record completely backs this up. We see the earliest recorded gardens developing almost simultaneously across the globe. We're talking Shang Dynasty China in 1600 BCE, Egyptian funerary chapels around 1400 BCE, and of course the legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon in the 8th century BCE.
If we look closely at that earliest Chinese example, the Shang terrace, it's clear it wasn't just some utilitarian plot for growing food. Built by King Zhao, it acted as a stunning reflection of the natural world. It was complete with housed animals and basically served as a dedicated, highly curated space for royal entertainment.
Section 2. Status, Power, and Politics. Controlling Nature.
So as civilizations grew, the purpose of the garden started to shift. It evolved from a spiritual paradise into the ultimate flex of political control. The Romans really drove this shift. They took purely functional vegetable plots and, by borrowing some Greek concepts, completely transformed them into highly ornamental courtyard gardens. These became massive status symbols designed purely for luxury.
Fast forward to the Tudor period for a surprisingly relatable story. Back in 1575, the Earl of Leicester, Robert Dudley, desperately wanted to marry Queen Elizabeth I. Knowing she was coming to visit his castle, he didn't just buy her some extravagant gift, he radically overhauled his entire landscaping to win her over.
And this brilliantly illustrates how gardens were used as political weapons. Dudley's design featured aviaries, cascading fountains, and these incredibly elaborate plantings. It was a strategic, undeniable display of massive wealth and literal dominance over nature. Now, sadly for him, she never actually married him, but his garden absolutely remains a legendary political prop.
Section 3. The Scholar's Peaceful Retreat. The Golden Age.
Now, while European elites were busy projecting loud, aggressive political dominance, Chinese elites were utilizing their enclosed spaces in a starkly contrasting way. During the Tang Dynasty, which was essentially the undisputed golden age of classical Chinese gardens, we see the beautiful rise of the scholars' gardens. Instead of building monuments to their own egos, they built dedicated spaces designed entirely to inspire. These gardens seamlessly integrated proverbs, poems, and gorgeous calligraphy right into the physical landscape. They were highly intellectual retreats, purposely meant to foster the arts and provide real peace away from the crushing demands of society.
Section 4. Japanese Zen Spiritual Gardens. The karesansui.
Okay, let's move over to Japan and see how their remarkably unique style built historically over time. It actually starts with prehistoric gravel shrines. Then, during the Nara period, Japan starts importing formal Chinese designs. And finally, Zen Buddhism merges with these existing traditions to create something entirely new, the dry garden.
This is the karesansui. It's composed of carefully raked gravel, incredibly sparse rocks, and minimal shrubbery. But here is the absolute most fascinating rule about this space. Humans are not meant to physically enter it. No way. It is treated as an untouched canvas, built strictly to be viewed from the outside as a tool for visual meditation. Now, what's really interesting about this
is the profound psychological contrast. Think back to the ornamental Roman style we just talked about. It was a utilitarian status symbol meant to literally conquer and actively dominate nature. Contrast that with the spiritual Japanese Zen design, purposely untouched, viewed entirely from a distance, and built purely for philosophical reflection. It's two completely fundamentally different ways of interacting with the natural world.
And even as Japanese gardens later evolved into Edo period strolling gardens, they maintained that incredibly deep intentionality. With their winding paths and highly symbolic landscapes, they were designed to physically guide the visitor through a sequentially unfolding, story-like experience.
Section 5. The Modern Garden Escape, Public Health.
So, bringing this whole historical journey into our modern reality, the industrial age really changed everything. As rapid urbanization crammed everyday people into concrete, smog-filled cities, the concept of the garden had to be democratized. They completely transformed from private aristocratic playgrounds into genuinely vital public health spaces, places that were literally essential for people to just survive city life. And hey, if you think we've somehow outgrown this core human need, just consider this number: 38 billion pounds. That is the estimated contribution of horticulture to the UK economy alone in 2023. Our deeply ingrained, centuries-old human obsession with curating nature is objectively stronger today than it has ever been.
From the walled paradises of ancient Persia to those wild Tudor political flexes, all the way to the perfectly raked gravel of a Zen temple, we humans have always needed a curated piece of nature to call our own. So whether it's a sprawling local park, a tiny community plot, or even just a single houseplant sitting on your desk, what does your personal pairi-daēza look like today?